I'm coming to you from a dimly lit room to talk to you about the most important issue that's ever faced our country. One so terrible that it'll render the 2016 election moot. I'm talking about Donald Trump's sex life. You see, it turns out that Donald Trump was unfaithful to his wife. He ended up sleeping with models and porn stars and other such ladies. And these ladies wanted to extort Mr. Trump by telling their story, being the victims that they were. So Trump, through his lawyer and the National Enquirer newspaper, ended up offering these women hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep quiet, which they didn't, because they're victims. That silence, us the American people not knowing that Donald Trump slept with ladies before the 2016 election, is the biggest crime that's ever faced this country. How were the people reasonably able to cast a vote not knowing all the salacious details of Donald Trump's sex life? Did he call them the next day? Did he text them? Did he take them out to dinner first? All of these were important details that could have swung the election one way or another. Would the people of Ohio, for example, voted for Trump? I mean, sure, Hillary wasn't concerned about working class people or visiting the flyover states, but perhaps these people would have been more willing to cast a ballot in favor of her had they known more details of Donald Trump's sex life. Now that we know that one media outlet refused to cover these stories, we can see what a terrible crime we're talking about. Not only should Trump be jailed for life, immediately impeached, but should go beyond impeachment. The election should be invalidated. Hillary Clinton should win. We should give her 5, 6, perhaps 7 terms for the terrible fate she suffered and the aggrievement she's had to go through because she was unable to use details of Donald Trump's sex life in her campaign. And after all, we know those issues are more important than things like the economy, veterans' health care, immigration. Who cares about any of that stuff? Now you may be asking yourself, how did we get here? We have a great man to thank for this. His name is Robert Mueller. He was sent to investigate Trump and his campaign colluding with Russia to steal an election. Now, of course, this has nothing to do with Russia or anything like that, but who cares about Russians' influences in elections? That pales in comparison than the salacious details of Donald Trump's sex life. That's the real danger to this country. Now, sure, we know that probably most politicians have salacious details of sex. Almost all of them have committed some kind of financial crime, particularly once they reach billionaire status. But no, Mueller knew we needed special treatment for Trump that wasn't dealt with any of these other people. And he assured us, trust us, this is all about getting to the bottom of Russia and their collusion. But he knew deep down there was something more nefarious going on. He had to charge people with lying to the FBI, people that the FBI didn't even think lied to them, such as, or didn't think it was worth charging for lying to them, such as General Flynn. He charged people with lying to Congress, which all of the leaders of the intel community, like Brennan, Comey, etc., have lied to Congress many times. He charged people with failing to register as foreign lobbyists, which occurs all the time in Washington and wasn't charged when it was people connected to Hillary. Now, he had to turn the screws because he knew deep down there was a serious crime. He had to raid lawyers' offices in the middle of the night. How else would you find the most hidden, darkest secret that this country's ever known? The details of Donald Trump's sex life. Now that this has been discovered, perhaps we could start to get to the bottom of exactly all the details that happened with this. Have some real important news coverage instead of things like the migrant caravan or riots that are occurring in France, instability across the world, the economy sliding with the stock market. All this fluff that could possibly plague the media. Now we could have non-stop coverage of what really matters. Donald Trump's sex life. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Again, this has nothing to do with Russia. Who cares? Russia threat, no threat compared to our president having intercourse with women. That's a terrible, terrible thing. And I know what you're thinking, but wait a minute. The same people most vocal about this now poo-pooed it when Bill Clinton was there. Doesn't matter. Bill Clinton wasn't having all the salacious details of Donald Trump's sex life. And the real crime is the campaign finance violation. I mean, any violation like that has to be dealt with life in prison and nulling and voiding the election. Now, yes, of course, Obama committed campaign finance violations, his team did, and that just warranted a fine. But, again, the details weren't salacious as to cover up something like intercourse with women. And yes, we also know that Obama's friend, Reverend Wright, who was a very controversial reverend, later came out and said after the election that a close Obama associate offered him $150,000 to please keep quiet. And then Obama personally came and met with him and asked him to please keep quiet till after the campaign. But those attempts at bribery, they didn't warrant any investigation whatsoever. Even when we had the actual target of that admitting it. You know why? Because Reverend Wright wasn't involved in Donald Trump's sex life. And yes, we know that many of the people that will be screaming loudest about this are hypocrites, and there's actually a congressional slush fund with the exact purpose of not derailing campaigns, so that these women have to keep quiet and can't say anything. And most of it's worse than just consensual sex like Donald Trump's accused of having. No, it's actual sexual misdeeds or provocations and things of that nature. But still, these politicians, some of which you may have used this slush fund themselves, have the right to be morally outraged as we learn more details of Donald Trump's sex slave. So remember, we need to null and void the 2016 election. Hillary needs to be instated President of the United States forever. Trump needs to spend the rest of his life behind bars. We need to stop worrying about Russia. It doesn't matter now. Now that Trump's out, I mean, that's all that really mattered was getting Trump out. We just used Russia as an excuse. I mean, no. Russia was still a big deal back then, but, now that we've learned of these higher crimes and misdemeanors, that the President of the United States actually had intercourse with women, that's a far bigger deal than anything Russia could do. Thank goodness that we had a special counselor to be able to get to the bottom of this and to pretend to the American people like he was solving things that had to do with Trump colluding with Russia, because he knew deep down only he was the morally righteous man that was able to uncover the details of the biggest crime in the history of this country, Donald Trump's sex life. Please stay tuned. Maybe I'll have some more After Dark episodes of this channel. We're going to have more details as they come out. Let's get to the real bottom of the ins and outs of what Trump did with these women. But remember, start advocating for his removal now, his imprisonment now. Start advocating for Hillary and people back in. Whatever you do, have a good one.